You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, Mahalo Wellness, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiro Moguls, Local Gold, Chiro Thin, McCaffrey's Clinical Mentoring, and Chiropractic Rocks. Let's hustle. Today I have the opportunity of having Dave Major on with me. And Dave, you have been doing chiropractic work for how long?
35 years plus.
So you've been in the game with Game Face for 35 years.
Yep, almost as old as you, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah, and in 6 years, that's 41 years, and that's my vintage.
There you go. That's funny.
But as we were talking off camera, personality and consistency, they really matter. And I think that that's so important that we could talk about a little bit is how you act and how you show up is a major part of what you get in return.
Right. Definitely. And you know, everybody said a little pushback, 50% of success is showing up. I feel 50% is showing up, but the other 50 that we choose to ignore sometimes is prepared. You know, people say good luck to you when I go out and speak and stuff. I'm like, there's no such thing as luck. It's where preparation and opportunity meet. If I have an opportunity when I'm there, I show up and I'm prepared, bam, it's going to be successful.
Well, one of the things that I think that should be discussed is whenever there's a lot of people out there that are in a system, there's only one MVP. And I think that sometimes everybody wants to play, but not everybody wins. And we're not in a society where everybody gets a trophy anymore. So, the MVP is the one that shows up that's the most valuable producer.
Right. Yes. And so, today I'm talking about, the individual. Everybody wants the script and stuff. I mean, you get new patients, I get hundreds of new patients. We all, I've helped people for years and years, not only get new patients, like Dan Sullivan, great chiropractor, great speaker. He became a chiropractor after he heard me, and I'm not even a chiropractor. I'm an HDC, honorary doctor of chiropractic. But, right now I want the people to listen that, I always say, change the label and you'll be able. Whatever the label is you have about yourself, change that label, because guess what? You'll be able to do those things you want to do, because your thoughts create your actions, your habits, your character, your destiny. So I say, if you want to change your destiny, if you don't like where you're heading, change the head, and changes the whole body.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people right now are really confused with marketing, and they can't go do events all over the place like you and I are skilled to do. And what would your advice be to them that have to figure this out?
Well, first off, I'd like to say, don't look at what you can't do. Look at what you can do. Okay. My buddy just came back into practice. I told him, there's a lot of, I'm not going to get into, that's a long discussion, but he got back in within a week. He said, Dave, I can't, because of what you did prior preparing to open. I'm seeing enough. I can't see anymore. They had to turn people away. Wow, what a problem. You think in 2 weeks you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs. I've sat with people at practices when they don't have one new they have new patients because we did a screening that week and they're having their first new patient, and in slowly building, you can reignite your practice immediately. And I have a lot of great techniques. I've been building practices for years. When they're ready to close the doors, I have a good program coming out with Mike and Dolphy next week. So, once they get the information, they can come and learn about it. But, you got to learn from the old pros. I hate to say it. I learned from the old pros. Now I'm on old pros, 66. I turned 66. Yeah, baby. So I'm 4 years away from 70, but I'm going to keep going probably till I'm 80. Sorry. But then I'll pass the baton to you, Jim. Okay. But anyways, so do what you can do. Life is 10% of what happens, 90% of how you react. So look at what you can do right now. You should be on the phone already, talking to people, saying, hey, we're back in practice. Have your staff there. We'd love to see you. We're opening up. Let's get you scheduled, and start being proactive. And that's what I always do. I look at the glass half full, not half empty.
So let's just say that events do pick up again and people start walking around without face masks on. And back in, 3 months previous to this, we high-fived people. We would have human connections with people. What do you think is going to happen when we go out and do our next event?
Well, I think this, I mean, and it really changed in a whole week because they're coming out. Well, now the virus doesn't stay on stuff that, they're stocking the shelves, so you don't have to wipe it down. Now we're finding this, now we're finding that. We know what we know, okay? You start talking from the other side of the fence, people think you're crazy and all that. I think what's happening, things are opening up. And if you've seen out there in Ohio here, they opened up a couple outside restaurants, outdoor seating, and it was like packed. No one did the 6 feet. I think once the month of June gets rolling and everything's opened up, it's going to go quite back to normal. And I think by July, in fact, if you're up in Denver in July, I'm going to be working Danny Knowles at the Boulder. They moved that from May to July. I think it's going to be, and you got to respect, there's still going to be a percentage of people who want a mask, and you got to be very, respectful of that. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to lighten up. And I think you're not going to have as much as gloom and doom as they put on us, and also are saying fearful of if you go out, it's going to rise up again. That's fear-based. I don't like fear. I don't do scare care. I don't scare people in anything, fear them. I'm just saying, what can we do? Let's look at the glass half full. So it's going to be okay, Jim. I think July you'll start seeing people get involved. And so here's my advice. You that have events that maybe check on them. Don't just say, oh, I'm sure they're canceled. Say, hey, are you going to move the event? When's it going to be? Are you going to reschedule it? Look around, because there are going to be events reopening, or they're going to have it maybe a month or two later. And if they don't, say, hey, we're ready for next year, because as well as I do, you blink your eyes and you're already in next year. So so just get on the phone, start calling, talking, seeing if the event's still on, and tell them you'll respect them. One person called me, a client, a really good friend. He's like, I'm just going to be, militant. And I said, you're going to get kicked out of the show. It's better not to even do the show, because with that energy, you know as well as I do, Jim, and a negative energy at a booth is going to cause a lot of problems. We're a health, a healing place. We're there to open arms and help people. And whether we got an open arm with mask and gloves on, who knows?
Well, I know that you're well known for being able to drive in lots of, signups to offices, new patients. Do you see that chiropractic is going to be that much more of a gravitational pull now, that people are looking for a solution, as opposed to, we had to work our butts off to get people to come over and talk to us, man. Like,
right.
like, do you think that people are going to say, hey, it's my choice now, I'm going to be more proactive, and I'm going to line up and get checked by this chiropractic booth, and I'm going to sign up just more freely than when we would actually have to say, hey, what's going on? Are you doing anything for it? Have you ever considered chiropractic? I think that people are going to say, you know what? I'm just going to go over there and talk to these guys because they don't do the pharmaceuticals.
Exactly. It's going to be better than ever, because more people are saying, hey, wait a minute, people that are healthy, even if they do get it, that's been our message for years. Fred Bard, I just watched a tape. I love him. He was a good friend of mine. He helped me. We lectured together. The flies don't get to the garbage can that has nothing. Then the garbage shows up. The garbage is there, and the flies show up. So the unhealthiness in the body and the host, and then guess what? You add that, and that's kind of the weight. That's the tipping scale. And so what happens is a lot of people, and I feel bad for those who have passed from COVID. They have a lot of other bricks, if you will, on that scale, and that just pushes them over, but then they're labeling it that. So, but people are seeing that, wait a minute, my favorite poster, number one seller, Feeling versus Function, the circle with the 3 parts, that, hey, people that have no symptoms are having it. Well, we've been saying that for years. People have different cancers and different heart disease, big killers in the top 3. They don't have any symptoms usually to the end. Because health's not about feeling, it's about function. And what determines function is structure. And what does chiropractors work with? Structure. Keep it simple. You and I, we have the best communication. And you keep it simple, talk it. I can out-talk any, I don't care. You bring any chiropractor, call me, we'll talk chiropractic. Because guess what? I tell you, I'm the master of disaster when it comes to that. Because why? I keep it simple on a 3rd grade level so everyone can understand it.
I really, you know, I see it as an opportunity for people that are maybe on the fence about how to get their practice ramped up again. And I think that they are going to have to go out there and, as we used to say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And they have to get out there and train and do events, and they have to meet community where they are, because these people are out there and they're looking, like you said, the people that might have lost loved ones, the people that might think that they have something inside of them that's lying dormant. Like, these are the people that are going to be like, wow, I don't want to go down the path of my loved one. I want to make sure I have a solution to my family's health. And I really think that when people go out there and they get comfortable, uncomfortable being comfortable, they will go out there and start doing community style events. Let's just give people something to maybe walk away with as an action of where they might want to go set up, and some of the events that you've done in the past that have been fruitful for you.
Okay, great. No, definitely. Okay, so here we're going to do two things. I'm going to tell you some events and tell you the attitude and preparing to go out there. All right, real quick. Probably one of the best things is go out and do lectures. And so many places are willing now, especially now with COVID. Mike Gandolfi went out and did a lecture at a corporation right during the pandemic about staying healthy. Everyone wants to stay healthy, and we know chiropractic adds health to your years and years to your health. So basically, call around and say, "Hey, listen, I want to educate your employees on health." Call around. First thing too is ask patients. That's one of the best things. You put up a flyer and say, "Listen, any place of employment that you're at, or any group you belong to, or church, if they want to know about how they stay healthy, because guess what? They're supposed to say round two's coming next year. If you want to stay healthy to prevent you from getting any kind of sickness, I'm willing to do a lecture." My gosh, you'll never believe how many opportunities you can have. Okay. The next thing is call your Chamber of Commerce and ask them, say, what events are they having this year or next year? And please don't even say, "Oh, that's not the spring," because it'll be here before you know it. And say, we're going to do a booth and talk about health and do a health screening. And they'll ask you who you are. And you say, "Well, I help sick people get well. I'm a chiropractor." So Chamber of Commerce, ask your patients who, at their place of employment, who they need to talk to. So you have an in, and go out there and talk. Now, probably the easiest thing is, I remember I went to, what's the city north of, oh geez, I don't know, of Denver, a small city, not Grand John. Where's Otterbox at? Anyways, no, it's anyway, and maybe it moved to Boulder. Anyways,
Westminster, Thornton.
No, it's up a little bit. It's about an hour from Boulder.
Fort Collins.
Fort Collins, there you go. Three Amigos, a gentleman opened up from Parker. We went out one day and got 4 new patients I want you to know that everywhere out there, people are, we had our waitress that kind of like, "Hey, how's your health?" You just ask them, "How's your health?" Well, on a scale 1 to 10, we had 4 people come in that day by just talking to people. So don't negate that. Don't negate the fact that, what, you should be on a mission. You should say, "Maybe I can help you. Here's my card. Here's where I'm known." That's where, you're planting seeds. Some seeds may grow and others may not, but keep planting seeds is what you're taught. So again, those are some things. Gyms that are opening up, people are healthy. Now here's the thing. People who have been sedentary, or they've been doing some things at home, they might need it more than ever. So go back to the gyms. And some people that maybe were doing screenings at a gym are scared now and won't do them. So the more you're out there, it's a numbers game. So ask the gyms, ask the Chamber of Commerce, and see what events are going on, and see if you can do talks. And then the last thing is just do some dinner talk or lunch and learns. Say now, you don't have to do lunch and learns with companies. You can say, "Hey, does you have any family members? I'm going to do a little get together and talk for people who want to know more how to be healthy." Your patients are the best people, and they care, and I know they do, and they want, and always say, "Help me in my mission. Help me in my mission to help improve the quality of life to my patients, friends, families, and community." And you'll be surprised at what you find. Okay. Now, you want to say something?
No, I just think that what you're saying is it's the law of reciprocity.
Right.
When you take care of people, they open doors for you. And
Exactly.
when you're involved in your community, they open doors for you. When you provide people service, they are going to give you referrals. And I think if you're giving good quality chiropractic service, then people are going to say, yeah, we have a business and we'd like to have you come do a talk. Or you call the Chamber of Commerce and you're like, yeah, I'm a chiropractor. I'd like to go out there. They're probably going to say, yeah, that'd be great because we know what's going on in our country right now. And we need more chiropractors out here talking about this. And then that builds community relations. I've told people from, as soon as I got into chiropractic and I went out and did my first event, I was like, wow, it's really cool to meet people and to talk to people. And people are so excited about the opportunity to get checked and to get an adjustment. Like I had no idea. And when I first went out, I didn't want to do it. So I can really tell people, just like they probably think for themselves, I don't want to go do that. That sucks. But when you think about it, now you get to change somebody's life. You get a chance to then bring them in. You get a chance to build referrals. You get a chance to serve your community. And I really believe that that's what chiropractors got into this for. The whole reason why they became chiropractors was to serve their community. But sometimes you have to retool your value system of how you do that. You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, Mahalo Wellness, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiro Moguls, Local Gold, Chiro Thin, McCaffrey's Clinical Mentoring, and Chiropractic Rocks. Let's hustle.
Well, exactly. You retool it because, they always say if your outside world's changing faster than your inside world, you're going to get left behind. So it's amazing how they are now. The people, like when you were 6 years old, I was doing my first screenings. It was a lot more the other way. Chiropractic stinks. You're not real doctors. It's come such a long way. Now people out there, it's the best time ever. Not only because the profession is great, but also because people are getting the message. The media and all the stuff that you're reading are supporting what we've been saying for years. Okay. So to retool is easy. Let's retool your attitude. Now we said you be successful. You got to act, ACT, A. Let's look at the A, attitude. I will, I can, I must. I mean, people are dying. You must have the attitude that if I don't, who will? Okay. And remember, some will, some won't. Some are waiting. So what? But you got to be out there telling the message. How many times you've seen it and people that I'm talking to, hey, 6 months later, I met you at that street fair and I finally, bing, that seed finally took root. So I have the attitude that I'm going out with a great attitude. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to make an impact on everybody I talk to, whether or not they sign up. Second is a commitment. You got to be committed. I'm an ex-athlete. It's not how good you are. It's how bad you want it. You got to get your game face on. Get your head in the game, get your game face on. I wake up in the morning. I remember when I was doing Dave Jackson's big show when he was in practice. I'm out on the treadmill crying. He goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "Man, I'm going to save lives today." That's a commitment you got to be. You got to be committed to say, listen, I'm going to do this no matter what. And then the last one is your talk. And what I mean by that is how you're talking. Do you have certainty, commitment, compassion, conviction of what you're saying? Because guess what? It's not just the script. The script is a little part. The tonality is a bigger part. And then the biggest part is your physiology. Are you got your shoulders back and you're certain on what you're saying and your body language is saying? Or are you going like, hey, why don't you maybe come in? You're like, hey, listen, check it out. You have nothing to lose but your problem. Check it out. And they're like, yeah, you're right. Make them think. So get back. If you need any scripts or whatever, please contact me. I'll give them to you free of cost for being part of this, Facebook or live podcast, whatever, because I'm telling you what, people out there, and I'm going to tell you one little story and then I'll let you talk. Sorry. I get wound up, baby. I got my game face on. See that game face? Dr. Lisa just called me. She says, I remember you, and I'll tell you a real short story. She was kind of her meek, mild, graduated from Parker College, and she had me come out. She wanted new patients, but she was stuck for 2 years at 50. Listen to this. Great stories. This happen all the time. I come out, I do a introduction day just to introduce people in chiropractic. Of course, I'm co-developer of this Insight Millennium. I developed the symmetry chart, spike chart. And so we did a scan day after I did a lecture that night. She already had 22 scans set up, and we did a talk of 60 people. We signed up another 20. She went from 50 stuck, couldn't get out of that rut, till 85 the next week, 105 the next week, and 120. I mean, double your practice. And it wasn't about the numbers, it's more about the passion of telling the story. Like you said, tell the story what chiropractic can do. So basically, you need to have the right attitude, be committed 100%, and then make sure your talk is congruent with how you're feeling. And I'm telling you what, it's all about the presentation of the information, right? You present it properly. Guess what? People are like, it's a no-brainer. I should check it out. Oops, I almost knocked that over. So I'm telling you what, there's a lot of Dr. Lisas out there stuck in their practice, and they want to grow and they want to get back. And right now, you need to get back quickly into the game, because guess what? If you're not, they'll look somewhere else, because we know, Jim does and I do, that people want chiropractic care badly, more now than ever. So let's get the game face on and get in the game. Right, Jim?
Well, the truth is, if we don't tell them the truth about chiropractic, then someone else will close them for drugs or surgery.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
It's a huge commitment. And what I can tell about, since I met you the first time, is you're very empathetic. Your empathy is so high. You have such a high level. And that's probably why you cried on the treadmill, is because, if you have the heart to go serve, and that's what sets you on fire, then that's it's very valuable. And then you have an intensity to you. And if you have empathy and an intensity, you can help people. And I think that, a lot of people are, they're afraid of public speaking. They're afraid of their own voice. So when you don't have those hindrances and you are very authentic with your empathy and with your enthusiasm and your excitement, you can make an impact in people's lives. And that's what's made it so effective for you to go out there and do community style events, because people are excited by your excitement. Mm-hmm. And they thrive off of your fuel. Mm-hmm. And if you're fired up, then people want to come talk to you. But like you said, if somebody's unsure of their message and they're unsure of if they even want to be there, they'd rather look at their watch and their phone than, to consider that there's somebody out there that's pushing a stroller, that has a family of 4, that wants to come in, but you just haven't made the connection because you haven't arrived.
Right. Exactly. That's why your service and my service is valuable, because we just don't send you scripts, whatever. We come out, and even if it's just one time and you want to see us in action, what the staff gets and they learn from us, and the enthusiasm, and the doctor sometimes goes, man, Jim and Dave have more passion about saving lives than I do, and they're not even chiropractors. Exactly. Hello. So get on board. All right. So yeah, I definitely, our service is invaluable. But you know what's funny? Here's what's funny. People are successful hire me and you, like Matt Finney, great guy. Not as good looking as I am, but he's a great guy. We always tease about that. So it's an inside joke. I'm not being, funny. But anyways, they hire us. They can do it. Matt's a good talker, but guess what? Number one, you have 2 kinds of chiropractors. Well, those that don't want to do it, those are scared to do it. And we do it. So again, being at a show, you've been there sometimes, 14 days in, or 20 some days in Alaska. I've been 10 days fair for Dr. Paul Reed, but 160 some new patients that actually started or whatever. That takes a lot. So you can't be out there all weekend long. And number one, not wanting to be there. Number 2, your energy is drained. Then you go in and try to serve your patients plus the new patients. So if you need any help, Jim and myself are the 2 best. No one does as many as we do. I've done them longer than you, but no.
But
I'm older.
And it's great to have the acknowledgement. So thank you.
Oh, you're worth it.
And when I came into the scene, I was like, well, if I can go out there and start a movement, and I can get more people taking initiative. That was really how I came into the scene. Is I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to start posting scoreboard. I'm going to tell people how many I signed up on a day. I'm going to tell people how many I scheduled on a weekend. And I couldn't even, I went from 3 clients to 30 clients within 4 months. And then I did 600 events in the 2.5 years. And after that, I'm like, dude, I need a break.
Yeah, definitely. No,
So,
definitely.
so when you think about like the intensity that it takes to do 600 events in 2.5 years, you're talking about somebody showing up for the weekend, then going to serve their clinic. Like that is it's a big job, and saving lives is a big job, and being the front line toe to toe with society. Like you said, when you got into it, people were like, quack this, quack that. You guys aren't real doctors. And now you're saying that they've softened up a little bit, but now people have more access to information.
Right.
Now people can go look at reviews like on their phone.
Right. Exactly. And which validates what we do. I mean, it's a great life. I mean, someone said, when are you going to retire? I go, I looked in the Bible and guess what it said? And they said, what? Nothing. Okay. How do you retire from helping sick people get well? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in the United States, Boulder, or I was in Kenya, Nairobi. I was on TV and I have my shirt. I love this shirt. Health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. And it is. I mean, what do you put a price on a life? So, and those people out there they just sucked up the message. Everyone wants to be healthy. And if they can avoid sickness, hey, hello, come to the chiropractic field. And it's an amazing field. It changed my wife's life of 20 years of migraines and then finally me. And sometimes it takes time. So be patient with people. My wife for a whole year, my buddy kept, you need to come in until I finally got through my thick skull. And it's the best thing that ever changed my life forever. Besides Jesus.
It's one of the principles is healing takes time.
It's a process.
Sometimes it's not the body that needs a healing. Sometimes it's the attitude that needs a healing.
Exactly. Definitely. Attitude adjustment.
Well, Dave, it was a pleasure having you on today. If anybody wants to reach out to Dave about his scripts or about him coming out doing events for you or myself, just send us each a direct message. But I just want to thank you for blessing me with your message today, Dave.
My pleasure. Do you have my email and stuff you put on there or my website?
You can put the comments down there below the live and people can reach out to you directly.
Okay, great. Look forward to everybody getting back in the game 100% and go out saving lives. And one thing, don't beat yourself up. If for some reason, family members had cancer or problems that you were trying to protect, don't let anybody beat you up. Whatever you did, that's in the past. Right now, let's move forward, get our game face on. Oops, sorry, hold on. On the count of 3, we got to do game face, baby. All right. It's game time. The game's starting back up. So get your head in the game face on. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And Jim and I are both going to pretend we have face masks. Going to say game face. Okay. Ready, Jim? 1, 2, 3. Game face. All right. Take care, buddy. Get in the game. Don't be a spectator. Be a participator. Boom.
See you soon, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.